Good afternoon, live from Toronto on the GBKM network. This is the Chat Up Show, the show where we catch you up with the chat up of our weekly headlines. I'm your host, Elizabeth Lloydie, and I hope that you are ready to chat it up with me today. Now, as always, you know you can keep up with the GBKM network in various ways. You can continue to listen and watch live 24/7 at www.gbkm.tv or www.gbkm.fm, where you can also catch up on any past shows you may have missed, check out our upcoming show schedule, like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. Also, make sure you download our free app available for all iOS and Android devices. Just search GBKM and you'll be able to download the app on the App Store and the Google Play Store. With the app, the best thing is you get everything that's available on our website. So you listen and you watch live 24/7. You can like, share, comment. You check out our past shows, check out our upcoming shows, learn a little bit more about our on-air personalities and other show hosts at the station. And the best part is you could take us on the go and you will be notified every time we go live. So anytime we're live, you'll get a notification from the app so you can tune in right as we go live. You can also continue to watch us on Facebook and YouTube at GBKM Network, where of course you can like, share, comment, and subscribe. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter for more updates on what's going on right here at the GBKM Network. That handle is at GBKM Network as well. Now, this past weekend has been quite a weekend for music. There's been a lot of music releases, but notably there was a tragedy that occurred at one major festival in Houston, Texas. That is the Astroworld festival that is headlined by artist Travis Scott. Now, if you don't know who Travis Scott is, he is a rapper, but he's also Kylie Jenner's baby daddy. If that's the best way you know of him. Facts, honestly. But this tragedy has kind of rocked the music world and had people thinking how responsible artists are to their fans and concert goers, people who are paying tickets to see them live, especially when it comes down to safety. I think what's important to remember is we are still in the middle of a global pandemic, so that is one side of the safety. But then there's also the side that, you know, so many people have been locked up and under lockdown for so long that now that we're finally starting to see some levels of freedom, some of us have kind of forgotten how to act. You know, we've forgotten how we should conduct ourselves in public sometimes. And I think that this tragedy kind of brought to light so many different things that went wrong, so many different things that could have been avoided based on organization, based on venue security, even medical staff on hand. But I can't discuss this all alone, so I've brought in my trusty guest host, Chelsea Okonji, host of The Discussion, back on the Chat Up Show. I've missed you on the show, girl.
I've missed the show, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so
Very excited.
I'm excited, but you know, it's still a somber mood because we can't ignore the fact that people did lose their lives this weekend at Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas. So let's just dive into it. Initially, first of all, what happened was there were about 50,000 people who attended the concert. We know that for now, there are at least 8 confirmed fatalities, that 8 people have lost their lives, the youngest of which was a 14-year-old high school student. Wow. It's so sad. That's tragic. It's so tragic.
Yeah.
It's so tragic.
That literally leads to like my first question. Why aren't your concerts 18 and older? Why aren't you putting in like, why aren't you allowing just adults to be present at your concert? If it's going to be something like this, I think his fans are ragers and they do a lot of, it's not like a regular calm concert. So why aren't there adults, or why isn't there a stipulation? Not saying that, you know, if it was an 18-year-old, it would have been better, but these are kids.
And majority of the victims and those that were injured were between the age range of 14, high school students, 14 to 18, you know?
It's terrible. We can't start this without, you know, paying our dues and respects to those that have lost their lives, and even the families of the lives that have been lost right now. It's a very difficult time, and we don't trivialize that at all. No. We also want to just make sure that everyone watching this is aware of how sad the situation is. That being said,
it's an incredibly sad situation. But as you say, that being said, it feels like a very avoidable situation.
That's the thing.
Number one, when it first started,
Yeah.
people essentially stampeded. There was a lot of footage that came out of people who were throwing down the barricades and climbing fences and hopping
Yeah.
fences to get to Astroworld Festival.
So there was already a breach of security.
Yes.
More or less.
Yes.
There was already, but this doesn't seem like it's not normal.
No.
From what I've seen, he has egged on his supporters to do this kind of thing like in the past.
Yeah.
Like a few shows behind. So I feel like maybe seeing that he must have thought, you know, these are my fans, this is what goes on. But even videos of them trampling over each other and trampling over security, trying to get
Into the venue.
into the venue, that just looked like a different scenario. Like, is no one scared of COVID anymore?
No.
Is this something that no one is actually talking about? And then going beyond that, when he was performing and all these fatalities were happening, he was able to, I can't speak to if he was able to see or if he was able to tell, but there was a point where people were coming up and saying, you know, this is what is happening. People are dying. I feel like at that point, what I feel Travis is responsible for, he should have stopped the show.
And he did, but it took 40 minutes after people
Yeah.
had been urging for help, essentially. It took people going onto a platform where there were cameramen, like crying and screaming for help. They ignored those cries for help as
Yeah.
well. So that's also down to the venue and the organizers
Exactly.
dealing with this kind of situation
Exactly.
too. Because I think, for one, obviously you want the artist to be able to notice what's going on with their fans. I mean, these are people that paid money, I mean, for the most part, except for those
Yeah.
who stampeded and like jumped fences. But for the most part, these are people that came and paid for the experience to see Travis Scott, Drake, whoever else was coming out to perform. It was a bunch of different artists who came out for this festival. They were paying money for this experience, but of course they weren't paying money to be hurt,
Yeah.
harmed in any way.
A lot of people were
A
hurt.
lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And there was an account of one of the people who actually ended up on the platform begging for help with the cameraman. She later went on social media and she basically described the scenes that she was seeing. And she said that there was one point that she got sucked into the ground and noticed that she was on top of other people.
Wow.
So she was already on bodies. It wasn't the
She
floor
was
that she
already
fell on top
of people.
Yeah. And that she could see the pain and the fear in their faces as she was trying to come up again, that there was
Yeah.
already a layer of bodies on the ground that people were just trampling over.
Now the thing is, what happens? Who's in charge of security at this
That's
venue?
true.
Who is in charge of making sure that these kind of things don't escalate to the rate that they escalated to? The reason why I say I don't fully blame Travis or he's a performer,
Yeah.
and usually I understand that if you see this kind of thing as a performer, you should know in your head that okay, there is someone that is assigned to take care of this situation. You would think that someone is taking care of it and it's not going to escalate to get really bad, to the point that there were ambulances coming in to carry people. I mean, who were the people on ground that were in charge of making sure that safety?
Yeah.
What were the safety exits? What were the protocols that were followed? I feel like I understand that there's an investigation that is being carried out now, which there should be, because there's so many lawsuits that are being filed against him and Drake right now. And the way the story just keeps going, we've seen fractions of videos about people complaining that, oh, you know, people are dying or people are not breathing. I saw a video of him addressing a member of the crowd, like, this person is, you know, needs some air, give them space, don't touch them. I feel like that was towards the beginning, and that's what he knew at the time. But how much it progressed and how bad it got, I'm not sure he was fully aware.
No.
Although,
I mean, he even said he wasn't aware.
yeah,
Like, he thought that it was just dehydration that people were dealing. I mean, it's like, I've been at a concert where I've had to be pulled out.
you've had to be pulled
Yes,
out?
because people were pushing on the barricades and I
Yeah.
was right at the front and security had to come and pull me
you
out. But security was lined up at the front.
That's what
Every
I'm
concert
saying.
that I've been at,
Yeah.
there were at least enough security
Security.
lined up at the front to ensure that if
Exactly.
there's any kind of casualty or any situation like this, they can attend to it, right?
This was about 50,000
That's another
people.
thing.
How isn't there security enough to control these people? And a lot of whom are minors. Like, how isn't there enough security to control what is going to, what will potentially happen? No matter what, like even if you didn't see it coming, that people were going to
Being
die or anything,
prepared.
just the capacity of people that are, you know, available in that area, being prepared. So I feel like someone on the team dropped the ball in terms of security, in terms of preparation, management team, somebody dropped the ball long before this escalated to how far it got. And it could have been prevented.
One thing I will say though is actually this morning I was scrolling through Twitter, as you do, you know,
Yeah.
and there was a video of people who were jumping on top of the security golf carts that were trying to get in. So I think because, as you said, that Travis is known to have pretty hyped up fans when they
Yeah.
come to watch him at the concerts. So they jumped on top of
On
the
top
golf
of the
cart, stopping and preventing the golf cart from helping people. And you had folks who were saying, stop, get off. They're going to help people. But
Yeah.
yet, of course, you know, high schoolers, you know, you get excited, you get overly animated, you're with your friends. Who knows, maybe if substances are involved, you're not clearly thinking because
Yeah.
you're in this atmosphere of like, yeah, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna
have
party.
fun.
That you don't realize that you're hindering someone from
Getting
potentially
help.
life-saving help.
Right.
Now, talking about prevention that went on, Houston fire chief actually came out and spoke. Sam Pena, he claimed that the venue could handle 200,000 people under the fire city code
Okay.
or the city fire codes.
So they were within like.
They
their-
were well within the
within
limits.
yeah, within the limits.
The authorities had limited that number to 50,000 for the performance. Also because of COVID, you know, you want to have enough space. That being said, people want to get as close as possible to the performance. They want to get as close as possible to the stage. So they're not going to think about, oh, let's social distance. Let's
No.
stay and keep everyone, you know, separate and stay within our 2-meter limits. They want to get as close to the stage. So there was a lot of pushing and shoving that then led to this kind of mosh pit
Yeah.
vibe.
I feel like even just going to a Travis Scott concert, you're not going to think, oh, I'm gonna go social distance,
Yeah.
2 meters away, everybody. I feel like mosh pit type of mentality is what that people encourage and expect. So that's what was happening. And I don't know how this could have been, you know, better handled or avoided. But in terms of giving themselves space, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it probably would have alleviated a lot of the pressure on certain, like on the front at least.
But how do you make sure that people give themselves space?
That's
Are you
the
going
thing.
to
Unless
like
if it's only
barricade
standing
everyone?
room, if it's only standing room, you really can't. If
Right.
it's seated, it's easier to do that because you
Yeah.
know everyone has their assigned seat. But with these standing room situations, you're gonna find these happen a lot. I mean, this isn't the first time these have happened at concerts. It's just that I think to this magnitude, this is probably the first time we've seen it recorded like this, that people
Exactly.
actually lost their lives, and we have
Actually lost their
hundreds who are still receiving treatment for their injuries. And just that it's so tragic because
very
just the
tragic.
thought that the last thing you may see or experience is someone stepping on you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I can't even imagine what was going through their minds at that time. The fear, the worry, the uncertainty, like how am I going to get out of here? One man who was actually the oldest victim who passed away died saving his fiance from it.
Wow.
Tragic.
Wow.
27-year-old died saving
Saving
his fiance.
from it. Yeah, this is going to go on for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the lawsuits, as
The
you said, they keep
lawsuits,
coming in.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time that Travis Scott has been, you know, liable to lawsuits and litigation before. I mean, in 2017, he was caught encouraging a concert goer in New York City to jump off a second floor balcony, saying, quote, "I see you, but are you going to do it?"
Wow. Okay, maybe that's a bit extreme.
It's very extreme.
That is very extreme. And I don't know. I can't speak to what he encouraged or what he didn't encourage, but that's encouraging any form of violence or inciting your fans to, you know, act in a way that will put them in harm's way is not something that you should do or not something that you should take lightly. Especially with this situation, and then the news just keeps piling up. The lawsuits just keep coming out hour by hour. The numbers keep increasing. Luckily, the numbers of death hasn't increased as much, but those that are injured are like in hundreds. This is like a
I mean,
plague on its own.
one lawyer has 35 plaintiffs.
One lawyer.
Just one lawyer that he's filing a suit against Travis for this particular Astroworld 2021.
Because people are going to want someone to pay.
Of course.
Especially
Especially
parents
victim
and
families. Yes, because
that have lost kids. And when I say kids, I mean kids. Like, this is people, you're going to hold someone accountable and it's not going to go away easily. Even if you were to settle all the lawsuits, it could run into, like, God knows how much. So
who knows? But that's another thing, is thinking, what responsibilities do artists have to their fans?
That's the thing. It's not for me to sit and judge and say this is I feel like what he should have been responsible for, once you see that something is off in that way,
You cut it off.
You cut it off. He didn't need to. He was informed like 30 to 40 minutes prior to cutting it off, which could have saved one life or two. You never know. I feel like at that point he could have stopped the concert and
and that's what a lot of people were saying, that
Yeah.
even people were putting out old footage of other performers. For example, Adele,
yeah.
multiple times has stopped her concert,
the
dead in the
concert.
tracks, just to
Yeah.
make sure that one person was safe.
Was safe.
Even recently, Tiana Taylor, I guess
saw that.
I mean,
I guess after
all
the
of
fact,
this,
right?
right?
She
She
didn't want
literally went
anything.
over to the person,
Yeah,
made
to
sure,
make sure that she was
asked her
okay.
to repeat a phrase to make sure that you're coherent enough to
Yeah.
repeat this phrase before I continue. And then when she repeated the phrase and
She was
saw
like-
that she was fine, she
Yeah.
continued on with the concert. Because at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to say it like this because it sounds bad, but these are the people that essentially have paved the way for your career.
Exactly. These are the people that are supporting you. These are
Yeah.
the people that are responsible for where you are and even making you more than what you are. So it's more like you owe them,
Safety.
yeah, at least, at
At
the very
least.
least.
At least.
And yes, it's not right to put all of the responsibility on the artist because, you know, they have a team, they have people that are in charge of this. This is someone's job, actually. But in terms of him as an artist, he could have just said, okay, you know what, this thing is getting weird. Instead of risking whatever happens, we'll stop the concert for now just to make sure that everyone is okay. That's something I feel like he could have done. The team, on the other hand,
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you can shirk the blame from them, because
Yeah.
really, genuinely, like the venue organizers as well, like this is what you prepare for. You ensure that it's safe enough for folks to
Right.
come in,
yeah.
for performers to come in and do their show and go without having deaths be a result of a festival. Now, a lot of people were upset with Travis Scott as well, because after the whole situation, after people had been crying, calling, saying people were dying, after his performance, he went straight to his after party.
So that's the thing. I read that he went to the after party
Not
without
knowing.
the knowledge of how far, the extent to which people were badly hurt, or that there was any death, because he went to an after party. I think it was organized by Drake.
Yeah,
And
at Dave and Buster.
Dave and Buster, and seemed to have a good time. But I don't even know how that would have played out if you didn't hear any. Again, no one informed you.
Yeah.
No one on your team told you, like
nobody
maybe
knew.
the deaths were not confirmed at the time, or
Yeah, but
I mean,
ambulances,
yeah.
they're not
I mean,
silent.
To be honest, having ambulances at concerts is not an uncommon
No,
thing.
but
apparently.
take hundreds of people though.
It's not an uncommon thing, but like that much commotion,
Yeah.
how could you be shielded from that much commotion? 300 plus people are injured in the hospital, and between the time of the concert and when it ended to the after party, I just feel like maybe someone should have said something, like, you know.
Like nobody spoke to the venue organizer. Like there was
no communication.
It feels like there was just a lack of communication across the
Yeah.
board that really resulted in this tragedy, honestly. I mean, I know we mentioned that there were 50,000 in attendance, but that's only recorded.
That's
We
true.
Don't actually know how many people were there. And there were, according to reports, there were 100,000 tickets that went on sale for this year's event.
Wow.
So that could potentially mean that there were at least 100,000 people in the venue who were there to watch or present for this to unfold.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. Now, he did come out and make statements. A lot of folks felt that there were a lot of opinions on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the video
for
in
sure.
itself, the touching the face,
Yeah.
there were a lot of body, what is it? Body movement experts or whatever who were
Yeah.
like passing judgments and like making their analysis of what it really meant. But I'm going to read the statement that he posted on Twitter.
Okay.
He said, quote, "I'm absolutely devastated by what took place last night. My prayers go out to the families and all those impacted by what happened at Astroworld Festival. Houston PD has my total support as they continue to look into the tragic loss of life. I'm committed to working together with the Houston community to heal and support the families in need. Thank you to Houston PD, Fire Department, and NRG Park for their immediate response and support. Love you all."
I mean, what more could he say? To be honest, what more could he say? Like, he probably had this written down. Even if it was sincere, we expected some sort of apology. And I heard that, I read somewhere that he would be responsible for like the funeral arrangements for the deceased and make payments. That's showing respect, you know, out of a sign of respect. So it does seem like he's taking some responsibility, even though he may have been far removed from the event, but he is trying to take some responsibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're just going to keep following the story.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much more that's going to unfold from this, but I think that now I think it might change how folks deal with situations like this in the future.
Yeah.
I think it's going to change how much responsibility artists put on themselves or on their team to ensure the safety of their concert goers,
Exactly.
their fans as well, because concerts are fun. Like, you don't want to fear that you will be stampeded,
yeah.
at a and parents who let their kids go to concerts, they're not thinking of that, you know? Like, there are other worries that could happen. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
In
general,
I'm
I
not
feel
gonna
like
get into that
people
specifically.
are going to be like very skeptical about going to concerts, especially his, for a while.
Yeah, because there's a track record there.
Yeah,
that's not great.
That's the thing, especially his. For a while, people are going to be very skeptical about going. But I like the awareness that it's bringing, especially to artists. So you don't have to be so far removed from your craft, your team, what you're doing. You want to be more involved and know what's going on, so that there isn't any potential, you know, lawsuits or issue. I saw the Tiana Taylor event when she was pulling someone else, like pulled someone up for air, and I was like, she's learned. She's like, you know? I'm not. You're not about to Travis Scott my concert. I guess it's not happening.
Not turning it into a verb.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But yeah, no, I mean, even just going back to 2017, at the same concert that he said he kind of egged on someone to jump off the second floor balcony, a fan was actually pushed off a third floor balcony and resulted in they're paralyzed now. And then in 2019, same festival, Astroworld, hundreds of people rushed the metal barricades as they did to break into the event. So this is common practices, it seems.
I guess that's why
for Astroworld.
He didn't think like something was off.
That it didn't click, that he just thought this is how they act, this is how rowdy the crowds are normally. I mean, if he feels comfortable enough to say, I see you, but are you going to do it? He's probably thinking, this is how wild my fans are in general. Back in 2019, 3 people were hospitalized with minor leg injuries from trampling.
No.
So this isn't
something new. Yeah.
Which would make you think that now you would then rework it with your team to figure out a better way to deal with something like this.
That's what you will think, right? But it seems like he's been getting away with it for so long. He probably just continued the way he was like, oh, someone will take care of it. You know, this is not new. It's not like it's happened. It's not happened before. We'll get through it, and then we're here again. There are people here. It's not going to stop anything in my career. So this past one was a very serious wake-up call. And
I don't even think it's going to stop his career in any way, to be honest with you.
It's not going to stop his career, but I feel like it's going to put like a dent, just something. It's not going to stop his career, to be honest.
Yeah, because I mean, he was actually arrested in 2015 at Lollapalooza after he allegedly urged fans to climb over security barriers and come on stage. He pled guilty to disorderly conduct in 2018 for an incident in Arkansas where a concert in the year prior where local police said that he had encouraged people to rush the stage as well. And then it was also reported that he had deleted tweets that he seemed to support sneaking wild fans into his shows.
Into his shows. So it seems like he's low-key inciting violence, but he's been doing this for a while, like pushing the boundaries, and I don't know.
You can only push the boundaries so far.
This is pretty far. Like, I hope this is going to change something in the way he encourages his fans to push barriers. I hope this is going to shed a new light, because there is no other. And the thing is, I don't think this is even going to stop people. I feel like his core fans, if he was to put out a concert tomorrow, they would still go,
Chelsea,
and there would still be.
There were people posting their bloody shoes on social media, saying like, "I survived this happening."
Well, now it's a story. It's like a thing of clout, right? Like it's a survival story, to be honest. So people are going to want to tell their version and things like that. Like you said, unfortunately, this might not deter his career in any way. This might not make an impact as much as we think. But it's definitely causing an impact right now. And the fact that there are so many families involved and victims involved.
And they're underage as well. So many of them are underage
That's
too.
the thing. I feel like for these kind of concerts, even though you appeal to younger fans, try and make it just adults at least. Not to say that it's better if adults...
Have an age limit.
Yeah, have an age limit.
Of some sorts.
Because kids, man, 14-year-old, that's... I don't know.
You think back to when you were 14, though, honestly.
I know.
You, like, the series of events just were tragic from the beginning, from people rushing in and climbing fences to come into the venue, to people pushing up against the barricades, to the stampedes, to the deaths. Like, it was just a series of events that just was one tragedy after another that just led to more hurt and more harm. And it's really unfortunate. But you wonder, like, how, like, yes, having more security is one thing, is one way that you can help alleviate the stress in this situation. Having more medical staff on hand.
Exactly. Having more exits, having more medical staff in hand, having more protocols for in case of situations. Someone gave an example and said, when I get on a plane, I get on like a train or something, I know where the exits are. I know someone is coming to tell me this about my safety, especially when it has to do with an enclosed area with a lot of people. If anything were to happen, I know that I go this way, I go this way, I go this way. I don't know what the protocols were for his concert, but clearly there need to have been even more medical staff on ground, like you said. Just especially in a concert where people usually pass out from dehydration or things happen. You don't want any fatalities or any type of this situation. No one wants this situation
on their hands. That he's gonna have to deal with. I mean, one lawyer already has 35 plaintiffs for suing him for gross negligence. It's gonna take some time. You know, it's gonna be unveiling itself as time goes on. We're going to see more about what's going to happen, what's going to come of these lawsuits, whether he will actually have to, what they're going to come to decision, like how much he's going to have to pay
or go to court. They're going to have to see. But I don't think he should shoulder the responsibility alone.
No.
I understand that he's being sued alongside Drake as well.
And the venue and event promoters and management as well. And the entertainment company Live Nation.
So all their entertainment lawyers are going to be
they're going to be working.
That's for sure.
And I think that's only fair because truthfully, like, these are the things that you have these protocols in place so that things like this do not happen. So that you're not having to be sued every time you put a concert on, that you're not being arrested every time you put a concert on, because that's part of his job as a performer, right? Performing as an artist, that's what he needs to do. But if every time you are performing or you're an artist, something like this happens, after a while that reputation is going to follow you around, and some event promoters might not even want to work with you because then now they're in a legal battle.
Everyone is in a legal battle. But let's see how it goes. We're going to keep following this to see
for sure
what unveils itself.
Yes. Now, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's gone on in the music world in terms of an album release that happened this past weekend from artist Summer Walker. Stay tuned.
Do you want to be your own boss and make income or extra income with flexible schedule? Welcome to Keenan Courier. Keenan Courier works as a marketplace platform connecting customers who need something delivered with drivers that are willing to serve them. Courier with any vehicle, better trip allocation, and cash out your earnings whenever you want. Download our driver apps today to sign up.
Canada's #1 African barbecue, the Suya Spot. Serving and satisfying your suya needs from multiple locations across the GTA, including Scarborough, Toronto, Woodbridge, and Mississauga. Also located in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Visit any location today or stay home and order through
DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Skip the Dishes.
For more information, check out our website at www.thesuyaspot.com or call the toll-free line at +1 866 448 7892. The Suya Spot. You built it, now use it. Vous l'avez construit, utilisez-le.
Don't make me laugh. Hello, welcome back to the Chat Up Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Lloydie. And joining me here today is host of The Discussion, Chelsea Okonji. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about the tragedy that occurred at Astroworld Festival 2021 with Travis Scott and the 8 victims who lost their life and the hundreds who were injured as a result of the rushing stampede and crushing against barricades in Houston, Texas. And our thoughts and prayers are with those and their families who have been deeply impacted by this event. It's sad. It's really sad. It's really tragic. Yeah. But moving on to our next topic conversation, we're kind of having a pop culture moment today.
Yes. This is a lot happened in the music industry. So.
And Summer Walker. Summer Walker finds herself in trouble a lot, I would say.
Especially around the time of her album release, sometimes.
You know, initially people were confused about why she was getting involved with her ex-boyfriends, baby mamas, and their drama.
Right.
And then because of how vocal she was, when she herself, you know, unveiled her pregnancy, I think a lot of people weren't really empathetic to her situation because they were like, you knew who you were with.
Yeah.
You had heard from not just one, 2, 3 other baby mamas.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's more like you knew what you were getting into. And then you went in with your eyes open.
Wide. But were they? Because love is blind.
Girl, please. There was living, breathing evidence manifested in different baby mamas. Listen, I just feel like even though love is blind, I wasn't as empathetic as well because I'm just like,
no, because she stays saying a lot of stuff that I feel like Summer.
But I love this new album.
I do.
It shows growth from the last album.
Yes.
It shows progression. It's not like woe is me. It's more like I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. And she's like, I deserve better.
Yeah.
And I think I will always champion a woman who recognizes her worth.
Yes.
And knows that a situation is not working and she needs to get up. Like now a baby is involved. So now you have to think about, is this toxic situation safe enough for me and my child? No?
Especially.
Okay. Dipping out.
I know.
Of course, music is cathartic.
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning of the album, actually, the album starts with a voicemail and ends with a voice note, essentially.
Yeah.
And the first voicemail was from Cardi B, who was essentially telling her, yo, don't give these baby mamas who are talking trash about you, if it's true that you're pregnant by this man, don't give them free clout. Put it in your music so you make money off it. And honestly, I think that is great advice.
That was great advice and it worked for her.
You know?
Yeah. And then let's talk about the end.
The prayer. Sierra's prayer.
Okay,
Miss Cece. First of all, thank you, because for years, we've been asking this woman, what is it you said to God to bring this man? She went from Future to Prince Charming.
Listen, and if anybody knows her current and her past, that is a huge. God is involved.
Because Future is like the infinity rings of baby mamas. Like I think he has like 7 to 9.
He's like the crown toxic king. I think he's a king, right?
He owns it.
Him and Drake, like between them, he's like, so she went
Drake
from
is like Loverboy toxic.
Yeah, they're just different styles. They have different methods, but they're both I feel like Drake might be worse. He just packages better.
romantic
but
to
Future
women.
owns it.
Future owns with Future. You know what you're getting. You go in, you know it's going to be toxic. You do your thing. You get your AP watch. You get your trips. You get
Your AP watch.
and then you
get your baby,
and you
unless
get
you're
your
Lori
baby,
Harvey.
and then unless you're Lori Harvey. But with Drake, he will fall in love with you.
Is that shade?
He will fall in love with all the women he's involved with. You will think every song is about you. You wait up that guy that will make you fall in love and start doing things.
Oh, behind your back, start moving a little snaky.
So his level of toxic is different, but it's packaged. It's like
yes.
Loverboy
This isn't
package.
personal, by the way.
No, it's not
okay, this
personal.
isn't personal. This is just what they've presented to the world as who they present themselves to be.
Exactly.
You know, honestly, when Drake first came on the scene, we were talking about how he's mushy.
Yeah, he was
soft,
emotional. He was so
and I think
cute.
that's why so many girls fell
got
in love with
sucked in.
him.
Plus, he's
Because I'm telling you,
he's not bad looking, and then he discovered all his powers.
you know what it
and
was? He got
just-
that liposuction and he realized who he was.
Liposuction.
He
was never
did.
fat.
I did. Okay.
He just
Allegedly.
like, I don't know. He morphed into something else, and then what he does or what he does works for him in the way that it does. That being said, Sierra's prayer.
Yes.
She finally now I don't know. How do you feel about this?
Okay, yeah, because how do you feel about it? Do you think this was the prayer she prayed?
Honestly, if I'm to be 100% honest, there's so many things in our lives that we have prayed for earnestly, and we know that when those things come to pass is because we prayed to God for it.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't personally written down word for word what my prayer is. Like, oh God, you know, I'm praying for this milestone, and I would write down the exact prayer, know it, and then you have it in your memorize it, even if it's like
I
a
have a prayer
one
journal.
page. Well, my prayer journals, I write my petitions, but not the actual.
It's like a diary for
Yeah,
me.
well-
So like I'll say like dear God, and then it's like
It's like, this is what I want.
written out loud.
Okay, so maybe that's what she did. I just
Maybe.
feel like let me start on the positive. I like the fact that she attributed her success to God. I like the fact that she brought attention to prayer, which is
you know,
marvelous.
let's actually say the prayer right now, okay?
Okay.
So she goes, Jesus, I need you. I don't fully understand everything right now, but I know you have great plans for me. Oof. I'm hurting, but there's purpose in my pain. I need you. I need you to restore my faith in love. I'm going to stop there because already, honestly, I felt it.
To be honest, this is very well written.
Yeah, I felt
This is very well written. It encompasses everything that I feel like a woman would want, or anyone really would want. Jesus, I need you. There is
Purpose
there's
in
purpose
my
in my pain.
I need you to
Like,
restore my faith
It's very
in
relatable
love.
because everyone has been there. Restore my faith in love, especially after one guy or a breakup that has happened. Like, this is very relatable. Okay.
So then she continues, give me strength. I know I can't do it all on my own. I'm
Right.
tired. I don't want to hurt no more. I don't want to feel like this ever again. Oh, Sierra. Thank you for hearing my cry. Thank you for hearing my heart. I know you'll do what's right with it.
Yeah.
Thank you for never judging me. I'm broken, but I'm beautifully broken. She's a lyricist, man. Now that I'm
you see?
reading it, honestly,
That's exactly my point.
she's a lyric.
She is a lyricist. This is a very well
Beautifully
written,
broken?
beautifully broken.
Poetic.
I'm like,
This is poetic.
when I go to God broken, I don't like, I have to realize that I'm beautifully broken after a while. I'm like, oh, okay, there was
That's
beauty in
hindsight.
the pain. That's hindsight.
Yeah.
I don't go
Not
and
in
say
the moment.
I'm beautifully broken.
You're asking God, like, why
Listen.
am I going through this, Lord?
You are crying the ugly cry
Ugly
with
cry,
like
the
snorts and
the
everything.
snot coming down
Listen,
your nose.
and you're like, wow.
But honestly,
But-
like, I think, okay, I'm going to continue with the prayer before we go into our official thoughts about it. Okay, so she continues after, I'm beautifully broken. I know you will help me put all the right pieces together. I know my pain is not in vain. Actually, honestly, I've said this before, that I know that there is a reason behind this.
Yeah.
She goes, I know that my baby is the most precious gift. Now, this is the baby she's had with Future, who
Yeah.
she also named
Future. So it's Future Junior.
So that reminder is always going to follow you around. You have given me in life. You have given me in life. Oh, I know that my baby is the most precious gift you've given me in life, and I thank you for that. Thank you. Cover and protect us, Lord. I pray the next man of my life will be my husband. Oh,
How many women have said this prayer? How many of us have said this? Listen,
I get it. I get it.
That's the thing. This is Relatable.
This is very relatable. I feel like she just pulled out something from her handbook. No, I'm not downplaying her prayer. She probably did say this prayer, and she probably wrote it down word for word as it is.
This one's poetic, though. It's poeticized, I think.
The thing I have an issue with is people. It became a thing. It became a social media spectacle that the prayer, after seeing the type of marriage that she has ended up in.
Yes, I actually want to talk about how we idolize celebrity
That's
relationships.
the thing.
But let's just finish up on this, because that's the big takeaway from this prayer situation. So she says that I pray the next man in my life is my husband. I pray he loves me, leads me, guides me, reassures me. I pray that he holds me. I pray that I have everything I want and need in him. I pray he will love me the way that you love me. Your love is unconditional. You are the way, the truth, and the life. In you there's hope. Lord, you say, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy. I believe in this pure love. This is what I want. Lord, thank you for reminding me who I am. I am a queen. I deserve to be treated like one. I am a warrior. I will get up. I am a child of God. I'm everything you say I am. I'm an overcomer. I'm built for this. Lord, I'm ready. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen to that.
I think what I like about it is that this is something that you can be inspired by.
Yeah.
For yourself. Like if you felt that I don't even know how to pray for, this arena in my life, this is a prayer that you could be inspired by and be like, okay, love is patient, love is kind. 1 Corinthians 13, you can go up and read that for yourself.
Exactly.
Use that to pray.
And tailor it to your situation. I feel like it's a good guideline to prayer. Now, what I don't like is people are taking this as Bible. People are taking this word for word and making it, this is the prayer. It's like people are making it the Lord's Prayer, more or less. Like, this is the prayer to get you, like, our Father is a prayer to this, and this is a prayer to get your man. I feel like this is a prayer for, this was what worked for her situation.
Yes.
Granted, you might be going through similar things. You don't have to say this prayer word for word. Like, it's a good guide. What people are doing is idolizing this, making this, out of becoming
and then
something
turning it
else.
into something else. And removing the prayer aspect from it. And
making it something.
Yes.
We don't know what's going on in their relationship.
Exactly.
That's not to say that they don't have a great relationship that they show us. On social media, it seems great. That's all we see. But I don't know if I want to pray for her relationship. Why don't you pray for what's best for you? Like, I pray for what's best for me as an individual. Granted, this is a good guide to use, but then make it into your own words. But people are actually upholding this and saying, that prayer should, thank God, Sierra has finally given us this prayer.
No, because for so many years, because from what we've seen, she went from someone who was not treating her like the queen she is, to someone who basically worships the ground she walks on, has raised her son like his own, doesn't see any difference between their children, like they're all his children.
Right.
And yes, that is inspiring. That's something that a lot of people would want. They want that kind of love in their life. But at the same time, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know what kind of trials they've had to go through within their relationship. So I am never going to sit here as Elizabeth Eloidy and say that is the relationship that I want. Because who I am is not who Sierra is.
It's like how people have been saying, I want that Will and Jada love.
I do not.
Listen.
I'm good on that.
For the past 2 years, we have seen more in their relationship than lyrics will tell you Will and Jada love. And I don't think there are many people that now aspire. Listen, I don't think there are many people that now aspire for that Will and Jada love anymore.
I mean, we saw it with Saweetie and Quavo. People were calling them couple goals up and down, up and down, up and down.
No one knew that there was any form of like
until
violence.
They broke up, and then it started coming out.
And then the video of him like hitting her and things like, I was like, oh. No one knows what's going on inside the relationship. So idolizing a relationship based on what you see on social media, I don't think that's very healthy.
Girl, and I love that you bring that up because Miss Summer Walker talks exactly about this in her album, Still Over It, where she says, quotes, nice stuff, big dates, just for Instagram flashing in one of her songs. That a lot of the things that we see on Instagram is just for show. So if you're seeing a couple that, there was even a couple recently that were shown on social media and people were saying, oh, I want this kind of love. Because the girl was saying, oh, my husband doesn't let me buy for anything. He's purchased me a new home for us to build our family, only for it to come out, Mans was doing fraud.
Yeah, oh, I saw that. he was buying so many things, like so many luxury things, and she was just living her best life.
Hush puppy.
And well, hush puppy. I don't think it was quite. It was
No,
hidden.
because
that he was,
but I mean, we had an
I feel
idea.
like he wanted to be caught. He was like, catch me now.
But people post so much. We post the glitz
Yeah.
and the glam on social media.
Nobody
Not
posts
everyone
like
is
the
as real.
hard
Not
work.
like
what I feel like relationships are very, like, it takes a lot of work, more work than is glamorized. It's like everyone posts the glamour, everyone posts the glitz, especially if the couple is like well known, popular, and then they have money. You know, all those things are fine.
Like we see the private jet trips. We
Yeah.
see, the parties. We see the gifts,
this
and then we also see, like in Summer Walker's case, the baby mamas will come back and say, "Oh, he hasn't seen his kids in so and so. He hasn't paid child support in so and so." But then she's defending him, and now she's on the other end of the foot, and now she's coming out saying, "I went through my pregnancy alone."
Yeah.
That what these women were saying. Of course, you have to ride for your man. When
Of
you're
course,
with
you have to
him,
ride for your man,
like,
but like,
not everything we see on social media is as it seems, because
accurate.
now that we're on the other side of things, now she's able to say out loud, like, this was not a great relationship.
Yeah,
That
this
I had
isn't
to
what
leave while I
happened.
was pregnant
right.
with his child.
Right. The thing is, I feel like at the time when she was defending him, she was still deeply in love with him.
Yeah.
To the point where, where you see red flags and they're kind of pink.
Hey.
And that one girl said, I see red flags, they're pink, but pink is my favorite color. Then you start making up excuses for the man.
Or you
start,
bedazzled the red flag so it's at least pretty.
It's like different. So I feel like she was at the point where she was making up excuses for him and
Yeah.
hoping that things will change. And that brings me to this question that I have. Do you think there can ever be a relationship where the man has baby mamas and it's not going to be an issue?
I think it just depends. I mean, if we look at Will and Jada, he technically has his ex-wife.
Right.
And in the beginning, of course, there was a little bit of tension, but
Right.
Will put Jada in her place because Jada was the one that was starting to, like,
Yeah. But there
bite
was
at the
animosity between Jada and his ex-wife.
I don't know if it was animosity, but more so like, I'm the new one here,
Yeah.
so like just recognize that. And then the ex-wife was like, well, I'm the mother of his first child, so
Yeah.
recognize that.
Yeah.
And Will had to tell Jada, like, you can't talk to her anyway, because
Yeah.
that is the mother of my child at the end of the day. I want to be able to have a relationship with my child.
But that also caused some friction between, the ex-wife and Jada, and which they only reconciled during the Red Table Talk. And that was like, so back to my question.
Yeah.
Is it that if a man has,
I think it's possible, but you have to have mature parties on
Right.
both ends. Like,
You do.
both of them have to be selfless and recognize at the end of the day it's for the children.
Yeah.
They always come first.
Right.
Regardless of how I feel about you, regardless of how our relationship ended, just because you may have cheated or abused or were toxic to me doesn't mean that that should impact your relationship with your children, unless you're doing the same thing to them.
Yeah. If you're doing the same thing to them,
yeah,
and then
if it's
that's
spilling
a real-
over and impacting
Right.
or harming the children in any way, shape, or form,
Right.
I completely understand cutting off that relationship. But if, for example, with Chris Brown, I don't like talking about him because he's very problematic. But one thing I will say is that when he found out royalty was his daughter,
Yeah.
he became very involved in her life.
Right.
Only for his baby mama to take him to court and say, "Oh, I want more money because I don't like how when she goes to your house, she's wearing designer, but when she comes
to
home,
my house,
she's wearing basic clothes."
Right.
And he's like, "I'm doing what I need to do as a father. We have joint custody. I'm also paying you child support. Don't take my child away from me because you want to, like, stunt."
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I kind of get that because there is no amount of child support that he would probably increase that to be able to give the child a balanced life in
Yeah.
that sense.
Like, he's
Regardless, if
wealthy.
if she isn't as wealthy as he is, I don't see on that case, I'm with him because how much more
Yeah.
would he give, and how much you're just going to be keeping up with the Joneses
Like,
if it's not something you can afford
Like,
fully.
I am of the belief that if you have joint custody, I do not think child support should be in question because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's split.
It's split.
So when the child is with this parent, they're
The
taking care
parent
of.
is taking care of.
It's not that it's only one
Yeah.
parent that's taking care of the child.
But things like, school
Yeah,
and
it's
major things
different.
that you have to pay for, I guess it's different when you
Yeah.
have to, if you're able to come to an agreement outside of court without, having the court involved, then kudos. And if you're able to stick to that agreement, not just come to the agreement and stay there, then that's different as well.
But do you get mad when women get pregnant by these stars that they're not in relationships with, and then they take them to court for child support?
I don't get mad because I don't know the situation.
Yeah. I'm
Leading up to them getting okay with Future, the first maybe 4. I don't know what. I feel like there are some women that went in knowing exactly what the situation was and knowing that this is a possibility. There's some women that go and see them as a meal ticket as well.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to take advantage of them. Let me just have a baby by him. He'll have to pay child
what's her name?
support.
She's an Instagrammer
for,
who got
like,
pregnant by a footballer. Or is he a basketball? No, I think he's a footballer, American football player. And she basically said, like, yeah, I finessed him.
See? So in that sense, I'm just like, the man is the victim in that sense.
Yeah.
There are women that are actually going around wanting to legitimately take advantage of this man. They see them as a meal ticket. For the next 18 years, you're going to be doing this because I have your child now. Mm-hmm. That's on both of them to be adults, the man to be responsible, the woman to have some self-respect and be more responsible. But once you have a child, 2 consenting adults have sex, and once that's done and a child is produced, you have a responsibility for the child, regardless. Both man and woman have a responsibility for that child. Mm-hmm. Now, if they go after them for child support and they're not giving it to them, technically you're defaulting and you can get taken to court. Like, I don't know how else to address the situation, but I don't like the intent behind. If you're malicious and you want to go intentionally and say, okay, I'm looking to trap this man, I want to have his baby and this and that, that's
I mean, I guess you could say accidents happen. I do not believe that children are 100% accidents, because there's so many things that you can do to prevent pregnancies from happening in this day and age, honestly. Like, as an adult,
I even wonder, why are these rappers going around with child protection? Like I would think the higher you get, the more you should.
You have so much at stake, right?
Yeah.
And
you
there's some
worried.
rappers that money dries up at some point.
Yeah. If you don't invest well,
like,
if you don't,
like if you're not smart with your money, it will dry up. And if you
Ciara did sorry to segue, but Ciara had an issue with how Future Senior wasn't showing up for Future Junior.
She had logged it.
Wasn't taking care. Wasn't sending. Like, imagine if she wasn't a woman of means.
Yeah.
Imagine if she didn't have her own and she couldn't take care of him
as well.
and exactly. So it's just, I don't know. It's quite a situation that we see.
Quite a situation.
Very often in Hollywood.
And we have NBA YoungBoy, who is like 22, and he already has how many?
I think he's racing to have as much children as his age.
He's racing
or something.
Nick Cannon.
Yeah. Well, Nick Cannon is at 9 now or 10.
He had 4 in like 1 year.
Yeah, he had 4. Yeah, and he went to all the shoots. Well, he came out to the Breakfast Club and said it's intentional. Yeah, none of them were.
He's dealing with an autoimmune disease or whatever I think is an autoimmune disease, and he says that he wants to leave a legacy. That's why he's having all these children.
This is a lot of legacies.
But it could, with different, like, you couldn't pick one woman and have all.
No,
all
not everybody is monogamous, to be honest.
That's true.
Because I like the fact that he owned it. He came out and he said, "This is intentional. I'm not just doing this and running away, and I'm doing
he takes
this."
Care of his kids.
Well aware, I'm taking care of all my kids. Do you go forth, multiply?
You know what they said it in a Bible.
But like, I mean, I feel like as a woman, if he's coming to me, he has 10 to 9 children by maybe 5 to 6 women.
I'm good.
There is what's going to make me think I'm special? What's going to make me think I'm the one?
I'm good. No. I think it's different when it was a relationship that went sour and there was a child as a product of that relationship, Right. I feel like I can understand that, but when it's just you are reckless.
He had 4 children in the space of 1 year. That means he got them pregnant in months.
In 1 year. I mean,
and he had twins. He had two
twins.
sets of twins.
This man just keeps having twins.
Yeah, it's a very strong gene. So it's like you got them pregnant.
There was a short
around the same time. So when you're in a relationship, you know what?
It's a lot. It's a lot. And you know what's really frustrating is that a lot of these men who will be, not in Nick Cannon's case because we know why he's doing it, but like in the Futures and the Lil Boosies and the NBA young boys, they will then judge women who are getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have minimum 5 baby mamas.
That's the thing. It's not an equal playing field at all, because society doesn't hold women and men to the same standards. If a woman has even one child out of wedlock,
all of a sudden,
you're all of a sudden, you
she's
know,
tied
damaged
up.
goods.
Yep.
But this man has maybe 4 to 5 children, and they're just...
And women are still, like, I do not find Future attractive at all.
I think it's the...
Can't.
It's the, like, street
No.
vibe, or...
No,
I don't find him
thank
attractive, knowing him.
I get,
but, like, I get the
don't.
appeal of
I don't.
something like a...
I just
Slug.
want everyone, not just women, men too. Also, like, let's
To
just
want
all
better?
love ourselves more.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, let's just love ourselves a little.
In
bit.
all honesty, I feel like Future probably wants to settle down at some point. Like, how
Isn't it like 40?
it doesn't matter. There isn't like an age to when you can settle down. But I
don't
feel
think it's gonna
like
change.
if you keep on going through people, men or women, at some point you're gonna want to want something a little bit more stable
Hopefully.
or serious. Like that sounds like you're filling up a void. In Drake's Certified Lover Boy, on one of the songs, he was like, you
know, I
go
didn't
through
listen to
them,
the
you
album.
don't wife them. That's how is when you wipe them that your music starts getting bad. I'm like, wow, this man.
That's so toxic.
But he's speaking his truth.
Oh,
And
really?
he was number one on the, I'm just saying, he's speaking his truth.
And he's speaking the truth of a lot of the ways that people think, especially in this generation, I feel like,
That is true.
that people don't see the point of monogamy anymore. It's like, what?
To be honest, it's not that I don't see a point, but I really do question if humans can be monogamous.
I will, because a lot of people's argument is that monogamy isn't natural, and I think that that's factually incorrect. That
How so?
monogamy is literally natural. That there are animals in the animal kingdom that are legitimately monogamous.
Yeah.
So factually saying monogamy is unnatural is incorrect.
To humans?
But to say that us as social beings we're incapable of being monogamous, and it's a little bit more difficult because we're social beings that are aware as well. I mean, enough of us are self-aware, some of us not so much. It may be a little bit more difficult to be monogamous, but I don't think that it's not, like, there are people out there who still crave monogamy,
that's
who are
the
still
thing.
capable of being
There are
monogamous.
people out there who are capable of
But there
being
are also people
monogamous,
out
but
there
for
who
how
don't.
long? And I feel like there are more people, I haven't really gone through the statistics of this, but there are more people that have been not monogamous, even though they are in monogamous
Yes.
relationships. There are so many people that have stepped out
Yeah.
of their relationships, more than people that have been monogamous with each other and no one has stepped out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many cheating married
That
or
it's
couples.
normalized.
Yeah, it's normalized. So I'm now asking, is it normal for us to actually want to be with one partner and give yourself to that one partner without any infidelity?
I think it's normal to want it,
To want it,
but
maybe,
to go
but
through with
to
it,
go through with it,
are you capable of doing that? I
like
think it
how
takes a
many
lot of
people
strength.
have been together past the 5 to 10 year mark without any form of infidelity?
I will, in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Let's not put that out there for me.
Not putting that out there for
No,
you.
I know, I get
But
you.
it goes to say, like, are we really a monogamous, species? All that being said, there are a lot of single women that still want a husband, and we're all still, we're all still praying for a monogamous partner.
We?
So, yeah.
I mean, I understand why polyamory is becoming more open
Right.
these days. It's not new.
Yeah, it's
not
not
new
new. It's just been
whatsoever.
frowned upon. But like,
in
it's
like
opening up.
modern history because of
Right.
what laws and whatever, how people viewed the institution of marriage. Like genuinely speaking, legally, marriage is made up. Spiritually, different story. But legally, like, I feel like it's kind of made up. Like all laws, to be honest with you, most laws at least, unless they're coming from God, I guess. I don't know. But
most laws.
yeah. So I understand why a lot of people are saying, like, why are we just accepting this as the social norms? Why can't we be polyamorous, where we do have a partner that we're married to, but we also recognize that there may be other people that we can have a connection with? Personally,
A lot of people are not willing to come to the terms with that. It has to do with how you've grown up, how you've been socialized.
and I also think it's like
what your belief is.
possessiveness as
Possessive.
well. And like jealousy.
There's going to be a lot. If you're not open to it, you're not open to
Yeah.
it. Like, you can't live that type of life and express, jealousy or
No, like
those kind of...
and it requires so much like trust.
so much trust,
open
understanding,
communication.
maturity.
that not a lot of people
Yeah.
are ready to have.
But it's not being forced upon people that are not ready to have it. But I also think the people that are in monogamous relationships that can't seem to stop cheating should maybe have a different conversation with themselves.
Maybe it's time to be honest with yourself and
That's
see
the
if
thing.
monogamy is for you. And if not,
Like,
maybe look for a polyamorous partner.
This guy, Jidena, he went on the Breakfast Club,
And he said he's not monogamous.
yeah, he's not monogamous. Like he sees himself as a polyamorous person. He was your crush. Well, he's really good looking, and those tattoos. I mean, but he's not. I'm just saying, he's not.
I've seen him like 3 times, you know. Anyway,
He likes
he's not-
multiple women.
I know.
And he's not gonna settle down with one.
I know. A crush is a crush, sweetie. I didn't say I want to marry man. Please.
Just saying.
I can't do it. So sorry, Jidena. Can't happen. But
But at least he's honest.
He's honest.
And when you come to him, you know what you're coming.
and that's the thing. It's honesty and openness that is required in relationships. Period. That
Yeah.
not a lot of people are ready for.
Yeah.
Some people don't feel like they can be truthful with their partners, and
That is
that's
true.
an issue within itself. Because if you can't, like, you gonna stay lying to the person that you're supposed to share your life with?
Yep.
I don't
We'll
think
do
that's
that.
a relationship for you.
Well,
You're gonna lie about everything? Like,
No,
you're gonna
not
lie
about-
about where
like,
you're going, who you're with, like,
okay, that's different. I don't even know how you build a relationship on lies, if I'm being honest.
but they do. People
yeah,
do.
People do. Well, I don't think they set out to do that. I think it just happens. I'm not making excuses
That you
for
don't
people.
want to hurt the
You
person.
don't want to hurt
so
the
you
person,
just
so you just
say a white lie to
you
cover it
know,
up.
tweak
Yeah.
the truth, and then you keep going. One white lie leads to another.
Yeah.
Segue though, someone I was really surprised that married 2 wives, Dr. Umar.
Are you really shocked?
Oh my goodness, I was.
You're shocked?
I was very shocked.
I'm
I'm like, with everything that he's
On the same
preaching.
day.
Listen,
He said
he
2
had
for
them
1.
both. He was like, yep, 2 for 1.
Buy one, get one free. He said.
Stop it. Stop it.
He had to
Cut down cost.
Kenny. He said I can't afford 2 weddings.
It was 2 for 1.
I
He did a
do.
combo too.
I do.
And they were happy. They seemed like.
They seemed
I was like,
happy.
whoa, this guy.
And you know what? Good for him that he could find 2 women to marry him at the same.
At the same
time.
time, and they looked really happy, like a
Very
very
happy.
happy, not couple, but throuple, right? I'm like, you know what? This man has. There are a lot of men that were envying him.
No,
like
I'm
yo,
and I think that that's where the honesty comes from. Because there are a lot of
Exactly.
people who will be looking from the sidelines.
exactly.
Like, I want to get in.
Your husband is
You
creeping.
can.
Uh,
The door is open. Just say it. Say it out loud.
I personally feel that a lot of African men are not monogamous, and they
Well,
don't want to be honest with themselves.
If we look into the history of like polygamy as well, like
This is what Chidina was saying.
Yeah,
If
like-
you look into the history of polygamy,
you're gonna tell me there was nobody
There's so
in your family
many
that was
like
polygamous?
grandfathers that had multiple wives.
Are you kidding?
There are cultures that allow for this, like, you know,
There are religions
outside
that allow
cultures
for this.
There are so many religions that allow for multiple wives. Now, no one is questioning that. But as we get like younger,
Not even
the
Africa. Look at Mormons in Utah, in the States.
That's the
like
thing.
multiple wives.
multiple
Modern
wives,
day.
I just feel like a lot of people still want that. Not a lot of women, but a lot of men still want
Actually,
that.
you know what? You'd be surprised how many women actually come out and say that polygamy saved our marriage because there's less pressure on one person.
Oh yeah.
I can't. I will box every day. I can't. No, because I get so jealous.
You see, that's the thing. Because now
I
you
keep
you
trying
know
to
what you want.
rationalize.
Like you
Yeah.
know that you want someone who's going to be monogamous with you, and you know that you want just one partner
Also, I don't have the energy.
for more than one
How do you-
person.
you know what I
feel like
mean?
I asked that question about men. I feel like a woman is a lot. Women are a lot. How do you have time for more than one?
You're juggling multiple
How do you have
people.
time? That's a
How
real
do you do
talent. Let me be-
schedules,
listen,
bro?
That's a real talent. I feel like women can do it though. It depends because not everyone appeal to your needs.
Could you be with more than one?
I don't think physically. No. I feel like one person will appeal to like your emotional needs.
Yeah, like
How
for
else are you going
different
to share it?
things.
Like it's
Like
going to be
one
for
person to
different
feed
things.
you.
Let me just put it out there. I'm monogamous. This is
too.
just for discussion.
Yes, like
But-
setting the record straight.
This is just for the discussion. But I know that there are women out there that need to have multiple partners that satisfy different aspects of themselves so that there isn't so much pressure on one person and there isn't so much,
Yeah, but personally, I don't want to deal with more than one person is wala.
Right. That's why you get with someone who's honest about not wanting to deal with more than one person as well.
Yes.
And you just...
And you find equally yoked.
Yeah, equally yoked.
It's so important that you're equally yoked.
That is
because when
true.
you're having someone who doesn't mind polyamory, and then there's
And
someone who's
strictly
staunch
monogamous.
It won't mesh.
Yeah.
It won't
Even if
work.
it does for a while, it will be shaky grounds. And then at the end, that person that, whatever they are truly in their hearts will still manifest.
Even before you get into a relationship, ask your partner, what do you consider cheating?
To be honest, that's a good question.
Because that thing will start arguments.
Yeah.
If you think that cheating is liking someone else's picture on social media, meanwhile, your partner does that on the regular basis, now you're upset, crying, throwing up. That's something you should have talked about before you got into the
But I don't know if you can stop people from liking someone else's picture.
But at least
it depends.
No, but if you're just holding that in to yourself, the resentment's going to fester and it's going to blow up.
It's going to fester and it's going to
That's
manifest
an open
after a
communication
while.
that you need to understand that these are my boundaries.
What if you have that communication and you've had that conversation and your partner is like, this is not something
tell me that
I can change.
Are uncomfortable with people commenting on my posts.
Commenting?
Yes. I do not have
Does he know what you do for a living?
I do not have control over what somebody else's son wants to comment under my post.
You have control of what you can reply.
Exactly.
But that just goes to show that he isn't comfortable with your lifestyle.
There we go. But this is a conversation that you have before you get too committed.
Right.
So that you know, like, listen, I can't change this. This is not within my control.
I always ask then, how did this person meet you? Because half the time we meet people on social media. No, you don't have to answer. That's true. But I'm just saying, like,
my DMs are closed.
Okay.
Unless you're coming for work.
I'm coming for work. But I'm just saying there are so many people that are not, like, comfortable with social media presence of another person. But it's a problem if, like, your partner is liking, so many pictures of naked women and, you're just there.
I'm really upset that Instagram took away the feature that you could see people's likes. You need to bring that back. But unfortunately, we've run out of time today. We've actually gone over. This was such a great conversation.
This was a great conversation.
I had so much fun having you.
Same here.
And we're definitely going to have you back. But with that, thank you so much. That concludes the Chat Up Show for today. As always, remember you can keep up with the GBKM network by following 24/7, watching live and listening live at www.gbkm.tv or www.gbkm.fm. Also, make sure you download our free app where you'll be notified every time we go live and you can listen and watch live on the go. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at GBKM Network. And you can follow me, your host, on Instagram and Twitter at TIS_Liz_O for more updates on what's going on in the Chat Up Show. With that, I will see you the same time, same place next week. Take care.
Canada's #1 African barbecue, the Suya Spot. Serving and satisfying your Suya needs from multiple locations across the GTA, including Scarborough, Toronto, Woodbridge, and Mississauga. Also located in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Visit any location today or stay home and order through DoorDash.